What a great conversation with Ipek and fascinating way to figure out what's for you and what's not for you and how to navigate your life.
Like I was talking to her about the Enneagrams, which everyone by now knows I'm passionate about, but it's another tool. It's another roadmap to help people really understand just who they are, why I'm here, and help to make some sense out of what feels like nonsense most of the time.
And how can I do it better? How can I do it with less pain, with more joy, with less conflict, with more connection? So listen up and then reach out to Ipek if you want to find. I can't wait to find out what my number is.
Me too. Me too.
The world is a lot right now. Are you feeling it? We all need new tools to help us walk through the chaos with grace, ease, and compassion for each other and for ourselves. In this podcast, you'll hear from parents, educators, and other experts who can bring perspective to the monumental job of parenting. It's time to level up and be warriors for our kids and our communities. This is the Warrior Parent Podcast. I'm Marci Mitchell.
And I'm Debbie DeMano. As parents, we understand that it really does take a village to raise our kids. We hope that this podcast serves to create and support that community for you. Join us as we discuss and practice our core tools, which are proven mind-body techniques that can be used by anyone to improve your life on a daily basis.
Welcome to the Warrior Parent Podcast. As always, we're so grateful that you're joining us. And today we'll be speaking with Ipek Gray, and she is the founder of the Born Method, a modern self-understanding and decision-making system that blends data, math, and ancient wisdom, rooted in the patented 20-digit code based on your birth date. The Born Method offers clear, personalized insight into life patterns, timing, and purpose. Debbie and I are both fascinated about this whole process. So we're excited to talk with Ipek. She has a background in data strategy and social impact and recognition from Forbes 30 Under 30. Ipek now works with founders, creatives, curious individuals who want grounded, intuitive guidance that they can actually use. The method is especially powerful for improving relationships, helping people better understand how they show up in love, family, and team dynamics. So this sounds, as I said, fascinating. We are so excited you're here. Thanks for being here, Ipek.
Thank you, Marci, and thank you, Debbie, for having me. I'm so excited to share about this method that my mom created over 25 years ago. And I'm also looking forward to your questions and sharing some stories from my side, but really honored to be here. Thank you.
Wow, we've been looking forward to this for a while. She signed up maybe a month or so ago. So we've been excited and doing our homework about the Born Method. And I am curious because I am a big follower of the Enneagram. Do you know about Enneagrams?
A little bit, but I know that it's come up in a few episodes. So yes, I'd love to hear your...
So Enneagrams were based on some spiritual teachings thousands of years ago. And I was trained in this probably some 30 years ago. In fact, I've just spent the last 2 weeks doing some training in my husband's company. And so, but the basis for it, I think, is similar to what you're doing with the Born Method. And it's essentially kind of a little bit of a roadmap for people. A lot of people, I think, feel like they're just kind of floundering around out there. They think everything's just random. If I had no luck, how does it go? If I had no bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
Yeah, Marci could sing it for us probably. I like you. I don't believe that's true. I believe we showed up here purposeful and in a meaningful way. And so anyway, I'm super excited about this conversation. So give us a little historical perspective from your mom. Like, how did she come up with this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad we're starting with like a real life example of a alternative tool like Enneagrams that many use. And there are other approaches that we know of that refer to birth dates, to numbers, like astrology is, I feel like, the most commonly known one, human design, numerology, Kabbalah, and it's actually numbers exist in many of the main religions too. But in her research, my mom included all of those. So she studied Enneagrams, everything I just mentioned. And she also had a deep curiosity towards ancient mathematical knowledge. And this, I feel like, entered our, like the social popular realm through like the Da Vinci Code, but like things just how numbers exist in our lives, in nature. And she, as a single mom, and I'm an only child, somehow had free time and lots of curiosity around learning more about how those ancient mathematical principles combined with the practices that many people across the globe use as an alternative approach to life, relationships, making sense. So she combined all of that to see if there's a connection between the meaning that we're making and the meaning that numbers have in their sort of base usage. And what she created is this patented formula that believes that there's a 20-digit code that exists in each of us, each of our relationships, and anything with a beginning. So companies, countries, relationships, they have their own 20-digit code too. And each number means something. It can show us something from the past, a potential.
Just so you know, it's 11:11 right now.
Yeah.
While we're having this, I just looked down because I'm always the
Yes,
clock
there's
manager. I'm like, okay, it's 11:11. This is perfect for the conversation.
Yeah.
It
So I
is.
didn't mean to interrupt you, but go on.
No, thank you.
I do. Oh, I love to point that out. No matter what's going on, people get used to it. It's 11:11, and then you just continue on.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
just like numbers are everywhere all the
Yes.
time. And I was going to share an example, but my mom's research collects all of that, and the part that's adds to why it's so unique is also the behavioral data that she's collected. And now I get to add on to her work. And what I mean by
what's your
behavioral,
mom's background? Like what
Yeah.
what led her, or is this it just struck her? Or did she have some research background, some scientific background?
So she's an orthodontist by training,
Oh,
but
Okay.
she has always been, I mean, she was a science girl,
Yes.
very always interested in research,
Mhm.
collecting information and making sense of it. And in Turkey, it's a little bit different. That's where I'm from, and that's where she practiced dentistry. You kind of, instead of picking your field, you get a score, imagine the SATs, and then high scores get into dentistry or engineering. So she just kind of randomly picked dentistry, but wanted more from her life.
Mhm.
And this was just a side curiosity, and she just combined all the information over time, and unintentionally it became her career. So she wrote a book
Wow.
about it. She sold her clinic, private practice, and then this has been her full-time gig.
Wow.
But what's also fascinating is as she was doing this, those were my formative years. So I was a 13-year-old, my first boyfriend, or having girlfriend issues, or as I turned 17, applying to colleges,
Yeah.
applying from Turkey to come to the US, and then later on meeting my husband here. So all of these things, her and I, it's kind of in our DNA at this point to talk in
Yes.
numbers.
I love it. I love it. And by the way, it's no accident that you are your analytics is your data is your background, and then sociology. So it's all those things put together, which is you, right?
Exactly. And it's actually like I never thought I would do this professionally. It was just a part of me, my daily language, and I'm very close with my mom. But when I was pregnant with my second son, and at that point, 10 plus years into my career in data science, helping nonprofits grow their impact using data, I realized, as much as that sounds incredibly, just helpful, and it's a very fulfilling career, I just was not happy. And I think similar to many moms, and I'll share more later on, many of the clients who come to me who are moms, I went through this moment of is this what I want to do? But I also don't want to do a total pivot. So what's the best way I can use my interest in data and numbers, but also do something personal? And bringing my mom's legacy, translating it into English, and now sharing it with people. It was the most obvious thing, but I had to do other things to get here and realize
Yeah.
that was the
It's always
next
a
step.
journey.
Yeah, so give us some examples. So give us an example of that mom who's coming to you like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I think this is typical for moms anyway, right? Like, so like Marci and I have very different paths. You've probably heard us talk about that. Like I kind of had the corporate thing and the nanny, and Marci was able to stay home. And so very different ways of showing up in the world and parenting kids. But there's always, like, whether I was working or she wasn't, there's always that thing in your mind like, well, I should be at home, and she's like, oh, I probably should be working. And but we're all in the same boat because we're mothering, going, okay, I'm just going to be a great mom, but sometimes that doesn't feel so fulfilling for some people as it does for others. And we're still women. We want other things besides maybe just being a mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of my clients, I would say 60% of my one-on-one clients are mothers who are rethinking their career steps.
Interesting.
And this also connects to numbers and data. It's not just because it's the Born method, but we know that as soon as women become mothers, there's a whole process of sort of reset, recalculation.
Absolutely.
Not everything, just time is a luxury. So when it comes to career decisions, mothers intentionally want to make intentional decisions. And the way I experience it and work through this with my clients is that, one, the Born method helps look at blueprint is one word to describe it, but it's almost like a user manual that people can refer to. So it's a tool, or it's a way to put words into things that you know you're good at, but never thought of because it comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because I think a lot of us can be, one of the things we say a lot is awareness is the first step. So when you get aware of a pattern that you have or something that's bothering you or something that's not working in your life, that's your first step. Oh, now I see this. Now what I'm going to do about it. But to start with an awareness, to do some work to figure out. And, for women, a lot of times we go into the childbearing years, maybe in our 20s or 30s, and then we are full on momming, whether we're working outside of the home in addition, but all our energy is there in our kids. Sometimes it's after your kids get a little older or they start to, go, they're in high school or they're going off to college, that suddenly you're like, oh, who am I? This feels like another time that would be a perfect time to really look at that and be able to say, oh, I'm good at this. I'm not good at that. This is good for me. This is like, get some sort of clarity on that, awareness around it, so that then you make choices from that informed place of what lights you up and what works with you versus trying to fit yourself into boxes that are not yours.
Exactly. And it can be self-awareness in the simplest way. Like oftentimes the information I provide through reading the numbers is like a mother being really good at strategizing, making charts. The Born method gives very actionable examples. Or another insight about a mother could be, you're really good at translating complicated things into simple to-do steps. So like that's something that, a client is already using in her daily life, but never thinks of it as something that comes to her easily.
Right. And that's a talent. That's a gift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we talk about how those can relate to bigger picture, macro level career shifts, either connected to her existing work or something that can be considered a pivot. And another big piece of, I think, motherhood, again, an example from my work is things happen in seasons and time cycles. In the Born method, we calculate it based on, there's 4 9-year cycles. Each 9-year has a theme. It's like growth, self-introspection. And usually when women become mothers, it's in that third to fourth 9-year cycle.
And so is that like born to age 9 and then 9? Okay, interesting.
18.
That's interesting because we tend to
on.
think in decades, right? But that's a little different.
And then there is, after 4 years, there's a neutralizing year. So a lot of moms actually, when their kid is 3, 4, I would say like 3 to 10-year-old kids, they hit that neutralizing 0 year, which also serves a purpose on its own. And it's before we transfer from this sort of cycle of self-knowledge, self-understanding to finally knowing ourselves and growing what we've worked on.
Let me ask you a question about that. So
Yeah.
you're saying that so you have kids and when they're hitting that age, maybe 3 or so,
Mm.
that the mom, has this neutralizing year that's like a reset.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
And that's just sort of some of the clients come during those times, but it's helpful to look at not just the Born method as a tool of self-understanding and self-exploration, but also decoding time. And that's usually things that we feel. We all feel a year, a month where we're like, we just can't seem to get anything done. All we can do is
Yeah.
sit still, read, or feel feelings.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Trying to keep your head above water. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there are other years where we're nonstop. We're just, we don't know how we have the energy, but we get a lot of things done. So that sort of time analysis helps me being able to share individualized guidance with mothers specifically, where I can say, I know like this year you really want to switch to a new job, but it's not the best year. The year's energy, the year's potential, and the probability of the math is telling you it's actually the year to sit still, ask questions, like use this year to explore, talk to your network, and pushing for a decision will actually lead you to another not so good decision. So
Wow.
honoring that sort of
Powerful.
the time and the data, and then that way it's just a tool that helps you not want to rush things, push things that aren't in a way meant to happen during that time cycle. And I think parenthood and motherhood especially, it can be very helpful to hear guidance around like, okay, it's okay for me to feel tired.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That-
Absolutely. To have it almost gives you permission to listen a little bit better to yourself. So yeah, this sounds just
Powerful.
really, yeah,
Marci
powerful
and I are already
fascinating.
signed up and we're not done with the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yes.
people have all sorts of ways that they make decisions about things. They might talk
Yeah.
to mom, or they might, hold a pendulum up and ask questions, or consult astrology, or, whatever, just talk to your partner. Another tool based on something kind of intuitive and coming from, what does it come from? You said it comes from starting with birth date.
Yeah, so it's just starting, or it's just the birth date, month, and year. And what I mentioned with the unique 20-digit codes, just in itself, we have about 800 different variations. So when you compare it to other methods, like astrology has 12 main signs, or, certain personality tests that corporations use, it'll be like 8 main categories.
Yeah.
This starts with 726. And then we add what you're specifically going through. So your numbers can match someone else's, but you and your partner's numbers combined together will have a totally different math, and we'll read that data
Interesting.
in a totally different way. Or you and your kids. So one way parents use this is decoding their synergy numbers. So you plus your husband plus your kids, for example. How do we best communicate together?
Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one.
So big.
Yeah. and-
Yeah, because we know some things work and some things don't, but to get clarity on. Hey, we just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about something very exciting that Debbie and I and our team have been working on for literally years. And that is our Cour Tools app, which is now available at the Google Play Store and at the Apple Store. And you can sign up for it now, and you will get access to all the tools we've been talking about on the podcast.
And if you're an early adopter of Cour Tools, you can get a VIP price for $49 for a lifetime. That's
Lifetime.
right. That's
Buy
right.
it once, and we'll keep
Lifetime.
updating it too.
Yes, yes. So we're super excited about this. Go to Apple Store, go to Google Play, and purchase it now.
Cour Tools, COUR, capital TOOLS.
Go get it.
This is how I do this.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
Exactly.
game changer for you.
For us, the Enneagram, if we didn't have it, so we have a blended family, by the way, and there's 4 kids. If we didn't have it, we'd all kill each other by now. I'm like, it's crystal clear. And, I'm talking about it in the corporate setting, and I'm sort of sharing it because it's a family business. And so like, that's a whole nother layer, right? But people are on the floor laughing about some of the stuff that we go through, but we know just because of the Enneagram that we can just have compassion about it. Like, oh, he's just doing that 7 thing again, or she's bawling over there. She's just in her 2. And so it's playful. It is just playful. And it creates an environment that I don't know that we'd have gotten through otherwise.
It's some empathy there. Where you can see others as well.
And it's like this sort of unbiased language, apolitical language. It's not charged. You're talking numbers or categories.
Right.
And I think that's why now I call it the Born method, but the way my mom has developed it, the direct translation from Turkish is the math of your life. And people so she's worked with corporations across the globe, Turkish business owners. And I think the biggest appeal is, especially nowadays, we tend to look for extreme tools so people can rely heavily on something like astrology or heavily on professional executive coaching. But there's actually lots of meaning and movement and action that can come from the blend of 2. You don't have to choose just your right or left side of your brain. And I think the Born method is one of those approaches where, yes, it's based on ancient wisdom around numbers and birth dates, but it also combines it with these very modern, observed behaviors, career choices, actionable family relationship guidance, so that people don't feel like they're just, I'm not just hearing things from the sky and transferring.
Well, if you think about it, it should be an evolvement, right? We're hopefully, well, I don't know, we're a little bit stuck right now, but we should be evolving as a species right now, right? And so it's interesting. People will they'll get charged by this idea that this is spiritual teaching from 2,000 years ago, but people, some famous people like your mom in the 1970s took the information that they had and then they put it into everyday working, right? And I imagine the Born method 100 years from now would have evolved too. But people are like, oh, well, if you're just making it up, then it's not real. Like, well, no. We're actually moving and evolving, just as you suggested, or hopefully so.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I think one of the best parts of this for me has been I've been having increasingly more male clients from finance, banking, VC world coming to do one-on-one sessions. And not that that's a factor on its own to see this as a method that can appeal to a lot of different ways of thinkers, but it's been appealing to men who are in that world because it offers one understanding without sort of this deep, you can get deep introspection, but almost it's like a shortcut to understanding yourself. And it becomes not just about you, meaning it shows patterns that can exist and potential that can exist in each number. And when it's delivered in a way that's not through something like, what couples therapy might feel like, very personal, instead of that, this is sort of higher level. I think it becomes an entry point to more self-reflection conversations.
Yeah, and that's the work, the self-reflection, what's going on with me and how can I do better, being intentional versus reactive. And I think men especially have been taught that reactive is the way to go. How big and loud can you respond to the thing you don't like? And it's not working. It's not working for men. It's never worked for them. It's definitely not working for the women and the children in their lives. So taking a breath, saying what's going on right now,
Yeah.
And then,
Exactly.
So you talk about that. You talk about burnout. And that
Mm-hmm.
can happen for men in the corporate world and moms in the momming world and moms who are working world and all of those.
Mm.
Burnout's a big deal.
everybody.
It's a big deal right now. Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
how this might help someone in that situation specifically.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure. So I feel like I've been seeing burnout, family burnout, and also career burnout,
Mm.
and especially mothers, the burnout through sort of their responsibilities in the family life and the
Yes.
constant shuffling game of trying to balance between family and work. I mean, it's an old story, but it's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
still very much felt.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a tool to help almost explain or make things that feel intangible tangible. So I'm going to give a client example, but I just had a family session with a mom who's growing her company. She has all what we call fire numbers in her 20-digit matrix, and her son has all air numbers. And it's like one beautiful way this method works. You kind of see how the people around us are here they come to our lives to teach us certain lessons about ourselves and things we need to learn.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot
Yes.
of times that could be our kids too. So she was stressed because the way she thinks her work, her family life is very organized in boxes. She has everything visualized for her
Mm-hmm.
family. And her son is all air numbers and he is moving through life very quickly, no plan whatsoever. He's kind of like a hurricane. And she's seeing that as a personal attack, although the flip side of that, the other side of the numbers is he's actually here to teach her to let go, to not always make her own plans, to
Mm-hmm.
accept and be okay with other way of making things work.
Yes.
So to her, one of my advice was like explaining it this way, but also saying the less you plan with him, your day, your routines, and the more you switch to exploration. So it could be going to a museum, going to a new playground, the easier you'll feel in the family, and that burnout of I need to spend more time with my family won't exist, because for her, it's not about more time. It's the way she's spending the 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
or the 4 hours
Yes.
with her
Oh my
family.
gosh.
Yeah.
So that's so relatable because
Yeah.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
have lots of time and it can be soul
Yeah.
sucking, or you can have
exactly.
Yeah.
just a magical moment with your child that you'll both remember because you're so in tune, you're allowing.
I
That's
think
really
like
interesting.
the biggest thing like we talk about too is the usually we're talking about moms, but usually the moms are like the planners, the organizers,
Mm-hmm.
like, and they're always shoulding, like I should be doing that and I should have done this
Mm-hmm.
and like all of that. But instead, the answer is what you've given them. It's actually the release. It's actually the
Mm-hmm.
letting go of all of the things that you should be doing. And that's what the child is the teacher of, right?
Right.
It's the release and the letting go. Like we don't have to have all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But yeah, I think in nine times out of 10, people are like, oh, teach me all the things I should do. I'm like, yeah, why don't you just let go of about 90% of the shit that you're doing right now, and you'll probably be fine, actually,
Yes.
right? Right?
Yeah. Or almost rechanneling that to do something else, because we find ourselves in cycles, and it's what we call patterns. We
Right.
find
Yes.
that's what becomes comfortable. So like when it comes to career, I had another client, a mother who had been in the same company for 20 years, but she really wanted to make a change. And it's really hard being somewhere
Mhm.
for 20 years. And she has two
Yes.
young kids. And she was doing what it's almost like muscle memory is used to doing, which is reach out to the people in her current roster, make conversations with in her current network. And looking at her numbers, something I pointed out was she carries the communication pattern, which is really good at what we call forming neighborly relationships. But without even knowing it, she's someone who can easily go up to people, ask them about their expertise, experience in life. And the way she talks is she then asks those people, how can I help you back? This is me
Mm.
summarizing her overall communication structure, but
Right.
I was like, just do this to people you don't know that well career-wise, instead of just going to your own circle and professional circle, go to your kids' parents, just asking those questions the way you do about your kids' schooling, but think about it through your career lens. And it just brought a different perspective. And those are the little steps that can take us out from burnout or our patterns. And it's a tool that's already in her. She just never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing. You're offering up ideas or opportunities. Sort of with the Enneagram, we're sort of doing the same thing. We talk about wings and where your purpose is. And so many of them are young women. Their moms are like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, they're thinking, "Oh, it's one more thing I have to add to my plate."
That's
But
true.
I'm thinking, no, like something that could fulfill you yourself outside of your everyday kid thing, right? And so I think that's so much of what happens with women, especially, Marci and our, our age, is that we're not in the grind anymore. And we do have an extra 5 minutes to think about, first of all, well, who am I now? And how can I help? How can I be of service in the planet with those skills that I have?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the most powerful numbers in our matrix is called the life purpose number. And I do workshops around this, sort of teaching the meaning of each number. And you can do the calculation for yourself, for the people around you. And I have clients that are over 50, and it's almost even more helpful to them sometimes because it's a reminder of why they're here, what they're good at. I had a client who she's 54 and her life purpose is to beautify things, make things like presentable. And she's in marketing, so that's fitting too. But also it's like, you can redo your little office corner in a way that you want to. Even just little acts of, it doesn't have to be big, but remembering your life purpose, what comes as recharging to you, can be a way to reconnect and feel more fulfilled. Very, very
I love that you said that, what feels recharging to you, because
you
know it when you live it, but there's things that you're going to do that are going to be draining, and you need to do them, or they're tiring. You have to, okay, I got to get this done. And then there's those things that when you're doing them, you're just like, oh, I don't want to stop. And where did the time go? And oh my gosh, has it been 4 hours? I'm just so into it. And that's filling, that's fulfilling, that's energizing. Even though you're doing something, it's energizing. Getting clear on that, so powerful.
Oh my goodness. I am afraid we're out of time.
And I want to hear about how can people reach out and work with you? You talked about a workshop or one-on-one. Like what are you offering, and how do people find you?
Yeah, so far I've been doing in-person workshops in Miami, but now I have Northeast ones coming up, and then actually some West Coast ones too. So I would say, I don't know if you're able to share like an email sign up.
We can share a link. If you share it with us, we'll put it in the show notes so people can find it below.
If people want to find out about upcoming workshops, and I'm planning to do some remote ones, just Zoom ones too, so they can hear about it too. And then I do one-on-one client work. It's all virtual, usually less than an hour, and I focus on what feels the most important to that person in their lives.
That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been amazing. I'm so excited. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be calling you.
I know. Who wants to know what their numbers are now?
Exactly. There's a lot. I'd be happy to share, but thank you so much. And you have my email, so for any other questions, but I'll send you a link, and then
we'll share that. Look for it. Look for it. It's going to be in the show notes, everybody. Thank you, Ipek.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
Hey, warrior moms. As we started this podcast, we had determined that part of what we were going to do is to create a community. So we have decided to take it to another level, and we have started our own Facebook community in addition to the Warrior Parent podcast, and it's called
From Chaos to Calm, a sanctuary for moms. Here's what it looks like. It's on Facebook right now. please go and join it. And just to let you know, we're going to create our Blue Sky accounts right now. We're getting prepared as we watch this weird stuff go on in America. So we may be shifting the whole group to Blue Sky. Just be aware that we got you. We're going to start here. If this turns out to be not a safe place anymore on Facebook, then we will shift over. But what we're creating is a safe space where moms can show up and get information, get support, talk to each other about the things you're going through with your kids, the things you went through with your kids, maybe get some advice from moms, but also other experts. We're going to invite all of our guests and experts to join the group. I hope you will too. This is a place where you can show up and be seen and be heard and be safe. Mom's got you.
Nobody trusts anyone more than moms. So let's do this.
And now for your core mental health break. This is your opportunity to take a moment to support your mental wellness, your peace of mind, your own ease and grace. Take some time every day to support your mental health. You deserve it, and it matters. So today we will do an affirmation. So I encourage you to speak this aloud. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. Let that be your affirmation for today. Thanks for listening to the Warrior Parent Podcast, which is a production of our nonprofit, Cour Experience, who also creates and distributes Cour tools. You can find us at courexperience.org. Make sure you join us next week for another informative conversation to help you and your family show up mindfully, purposefully, and joyfully with each other and in your community.
Our Cour Tools platform consists of a number of proven tools and techniques that are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in spite of what's going on in your world. We want to thank Samuel Hale, LLC, for sponsoring this podcast. Technical and marketing support comes from Inspire Your Brand. Our podcast editor is Justin Beeden. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the producers, or the financial supporters. I'm Debbie DeMano.
And I'm Marci Mitchell. Thanks for listening. If you resonate with the idea of creating a community to help support kids and families, won't you join us by following the podcast and sharing this episode? You can even write a review. It truly does take a village, and we appreciate you.